You're watching WBXX TV. The CW20 News at 10 starts now.
Right now at 10, new laws go into effect in the morning, including 2 controversial abortion bills. We have a rundown coming up. Plus, new information in the past few hours on that deadly plane crash that claimed 3 lives of a family in East Tennessee. Good evening, I'm Lori Tucker. Thanks for joining us after today's heavy rain with flash flooding in Roane County. Let's get right to meteorologist Ken Weathers in the Storm Center. And Ken, looks like more rain is headed our way.
Yeah, Lori, a few spotty showers out there tonight. Most areas are going to slowly start to dry out, but we're not done yet as we go through the work week. Still plenty of opportunities to go, and that'll include the holiday weekend as well. Strongest thunderstorm moving out of our area. Southern sections of Monroe County. We'll get a little bit closer in on that, and you can see this storm just on the southern tip there of Monroe County, sliding towards the south and east. It's making its way into western North Carolina as we speak, so not a huge impact here in our area. One cell we are watching back towards the north and west, though, right through here. It's weakening as it's headed towards ORNL. Looks like it could be there right about now. Y12 at 10:03 and Farragut right around 10:11. So a little bit quieter overnight tonight. Nothing like last night, but we're not done with the storms just yet. More on that in a minute, Lori.
All right, Ken, we'll see you in a few. Well, federal investigators releasing new information tonight on that deadly plane crash that killed 3 members of a family from here in East Tennessee. NTSB investigator Doug Brazee says there was a hole in the engine's crankcase, but they're not sure what caused it. That case is being sent to the manufacturer's lab for examination. And we've been told a preliminary report could be available in a few weeks, but a full report could take up to a year. Dr. Rick Callister, his wife Betty, and one of their daughters, Nicole, were headed to student orientation at Northeastern University in Boston, where Nicole was enrolling for the fall. We also learned they had taken off from an airport in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Dr. Callister was piloting the plane. He told air traffic control that the engine was failing just minutes before crashing into a home in Plainville, Massachusetts. The family living in the home was able to escape, as we reported. NTSB and FAA investigators were out at the scene again today, removing parts of the wreckage. And we're continuing to find out more about the good works that Dr. Callister did in our area. Whitney Good was in McMinn County today, finding out more about his service as a reserve deputy there.
Dr. Callister joined the McMinn County Sheriff's Office about 5 years ago as a SWAT medic, and the deputies here say he was always one of the first to help you out. An excellent doctor.
We never worried about anything with him on the team.
A loving husband.
He would talk about his wife and kids a lot.
And a proud father.
He just a real good guy.
It's just a few of the ways the McMinn County Sheriff's Office describes Dr. Callister, known to them as Doc. He, his wife, and one of his daughters, Nicole, were killed Monday in a plane crash in Massachusetts.
I just seen him and talked to him last Thursday, and it's just shocked whenever you come in and find out one of your friends and coworkers and fellow brothers has passed away.
Deputies say Dr. Callister was well known and highly respected within McMinn County. His daughter Nicole was about to start college at Northeastern University. That's where they were headed when the plane went down.
An all around just a great guy. And just he'd come into work here with a smile on his face, and like I said, just his attitude and his persona about him was just great.
An experienced pilot, he often flew other SWAT members across the country for training, always going the extra mile to help out. But it's his contagious smile and friendly personality that will be remembered most.
It's just hard to imagine somebody like that gone. I mean, the world lost a good man.
Whitney Good, CW20 News at 10.
Now, deputies say they will retire Dr. Callister's unit number and place a plaque on the wall in his memory. New laws we want to tell you about in Tennessee are going to effect starting tomorrow. The 48-hour waiting period on abortions takes place, and the law requiring facilities that perform more than 50 abortions each year to be held to the same health and safety standards as other outpatient surgical facilities. The ACLU's executive director here in Tennessee says her group is protesting these laws because they interfere with the woman's right to make her own health care decisions. Well, let's take a moment, bring you up to date on developments out of Canada tonight. We know one half, at least, of the Women's World Cup final. The U.S. women defeat Germany 2-0. 6 on Your Side sports director Michael Spencer is working on the highlights right now. We'll hear from him later in sports. A hardware store owner in Granger County says he is not worried about how a sign he posted on the window might affect his business. It says, "No gays allowed." A WATE 6 on Your Side viewer spotted this sign at Amex Hardware in Washburn and sent us the picture. Even though there is a change to the sign tonight, we wanted to know why it was there in the first place. Laura Holm went to Granger County to find out.
This has been happening all day.
Amex Hardware.
A range of calls, everything from
A lot of people have called me and congratulated me.
to
People were calling and threatening me. Told me I would regret this. No, I'll never regret it.
what Jeff Amick says he won't regret, this sign.
The reason I put up the sign is to let the homosexual people know that there are Christian people that are willing to take a stand.
Today, it's not up anymore. Instead, there's this one.
People told me I ought to do it a little more and make it a little nicer because I'm a very blunt person.
Though these signs are raising some questions in the Washburn community.
So how would you even know if they was gay unless they seen the sign and just turned away?
It's his business. He can do whatever he wants. If he wants gays to stay out, then that's his preference.
But the hardware store wants to make one thing clear.
I don't hate people. It's not the people I hate, it's the sin that I hate.
Amix simply asks for respect, which in turn he says he'll show if a customer is homosexual.
I might preach to you a little while.
And there's no telling what tomorrow may look like.
Until they tell me that it is illegal for me to have my freedom of speech and to my freedom of religion, the sign will stay.
Laura Holmes, CW20 News at 10.
Well, we checked with Tennessee's chapter of the American Civil Liberties Union. Here is what the executive director sent us in a statement. It says gay and lesbian people are our neighbors, co-workers, family members, and friends. When it comes to being able to be served by a business, they should be treated like anyone else. The statement goes on to say religion should not be used as an excuse to discriminate against LGBT people. Businesses that are open to the public should be open to everyone on the same terms. Well, new information tonight out of Europe. Greece has become the first developed country to default on a loan to the International Monetary Fund. They failed to make a payment on $1.8 billion in debt. The Eurozone finance chief refused to grant an extension to Greece, who has relied on the bailout program for 5 years without being able to pay. However, the IMF says it will consider a request from Greece to extend the loan. People in Greece will vote on a referendum on a debt proposal Sunday. The last country to miss a loan payment was Zimbabwe back in 2001. The president calling recent legal and legislative victories, quote, gratifying, the result of hard work by his team over the past few years. We're talking about decisions like keeping federal subsidies for those enrolled in health care and passing the right for same-sex couples to marry. He's hoping this wave of change will include reform on climate change. He talked about a few of his plans in a news conference today alongside the president of Brazil.
As major economies, the United States and Brazil will continue to lead in the fight against climate change. Since 2005, our two nations have reduced carbon emissions more than any other countries in the world. Both our nations are setting new goals on clean energy. Beyond hydropower, the United States and Brazil will aim to increase the share of electricity we generate from renewable energy to 20% by the year 2030.
The president will be in Nashville tomorrow talking about some of the items on his agenda. The White House saying the president will visit Taylor Stratton Elementary School there. What you're looking at now is video from his visit to East Tennessee back in February. He's expected to talk about the Affordable Care Act tomorrow. With the ruling from the Supreme Court last week, more than 150,000 Tennesseans will maintain federal subsidies, even though our state does not have its own exchange. You may also remember the fight for Insure Tennessee is expected to continue, which could expand Medicaid to almost 300,000 people in our state. It was defeated twice in the General Assembly this year. The measles epidemic raised questions about vaccinations. Well, coming up here at 10, how some lawmakers in one state are saying a strict new bill is not the answer.
No severe thunderstorms, but still tracking a few showers making their way through portions of Claiborne County heading eastward to view the new Tazewell area at 1022, Tazewell 1028. But again, we're not done with the wet weather throughout the week. I'll have more on that coming up.
A new group plans to add a visual presence with supporters of flying the Confederate flag as protests are starting to get violent. We have the latest coming up next. You're watching the CW20 News at 10.